Good morning, beloved brothers and sisters in Christ. Before the sun rises fully and the world awakens in its hurried rhythm, there is a sacred moment, a divine invitation calling each of us to pause, to breathe, and to pray first. Because before we step into the unknowns of today, there is a known God who has already gone before us. He has seen the battles we'll face, the decisions we'll make, and the burdens we'll carry. An incredible truth? He's already made a way through. Today's message is grounded in a life-changing truth. Always pray first before you start your day, because worry doesn't win wars, but worship does. Anxiety doesn't move mountains, but prayer does. We're not called to figure everything out. We're called to trust the one who already has. In every corner of the globe, testimonies rise like morning mist, stories of believers just like you who, in their darkest hours, whispered desperate prayers. A mother in tears kneeling at her sick child's bedside only to witness the fever break within hours. A man crushed beneath debt, lifting his eyes to heaven and receiving a job offer the next day. A woman on the brink of giving up, crying out in worship and finding peace so deep it silenced her storms. This isn't coincidence. It's divine intervention. Because prayer isn't a last resort. It's our first weapon, our greatest defense, our sacred dialogue with a God who still heals, still rescues, still moves. You may have walked in today weary from battles no one else sees, silent fears, unspoken dreams, private pain. But friend, you didn't come to hear a man or a message. You came for a meeting with the Almighty. And He is here. He's ready to restore what was broken, to breathe life into dry places, and to show you that nothing is wasted in His hands. So before we go further, I invite you to open your heart wide. Let go of the need to control. Release the worries that weigh you down. And lean in, because breakthrough begins not when the problem is solved, but when the prayer is spoken. This morning is your moment of encounter. God has it all figured out. And all He's asking is that you trust Him enough to begin with Him. Let's prepare to pray not as a ritual, but as a revolution in the Spirit. Because everything changes when we choose to pray first. Dear Heavenly Father, before I take another breath, before I check a single message, before the weight of this day has a chance to press against my chest, I come before you. Because you, Lord, are my beginning. You're my center. You are the one who holds every second, every situation, and every storm in the palm of your mighty, unfailing hand. I refuse to step into this day in my own strength. I refuse to pretend I have it figured out. I choose instead to kneel before the throne of grace, where peace overpowers panic and prayer precedes every plan. Father, you see the burdens I carry, those I've spoken aloud, and the ones I've hidden in the cracks of my soul. You see the worries I've nursed in the silence of the night, the questions I haven't dared to ask, the fear that lingers like fog. But today, I refuse to carry what was never mine to hold. Today, I place every anxious thought, every tangled knot of worry, every what if and how will I at your feet. You already know. You already see. You already have a way. Holy Spirit, come. Saturate this moment. Hover over my mind and cast down every lie that says I have to strive, perform, or panic. Drown out the voice of fear with the truth of who you are. You are the God who never sleeps, the shepherd who never loses a sheep, the Redeemer who writes beauty into every broken place. You have it all figured out even when I don't. Even when everything looks uncertain, you're never uncertain. Lord, help me not to be seduced by the illusion of control. Help me not to wake up reaching for my schedule, my plans, my solutions, but to reach first for you. because when I pray first, everything aligns. When I pray first, peace flows where pressure once reigned. When I pray first, I'm no longer reacting to life and moving in step with divine strategy, with heavenly clarity. Prayer isn't my backup plan, it's my battle stance. It's where I win my victories before the fight even begins. So, Father, I ask you to go before me today. Let me into conversations that carry your kindness. Shield me from distractions dressed as good opportunities. Whisper wisdom when I'm tempted to rush. And when worry knocks, let prayer answer. Let your word rise in my spirit like a sword, cutting through confusion, doubt, and delay. I don't need to have it all mapped out. I only need to trust the one who already drew the map. Remind me, Lord, that the same power that raised Jesus from the dead is alive in me. So I refuse to shrink back. I won't let fear write the story of my day. I walk in authority, in confidence, in expectancy because you are the author. You are writing something holy in the ordinary, something eternal in today's temporary trials. So I yield. I surrender. Not because I'm weak, but because you are strong. Not because I give up, but because I choose to give it to you. Let every moment today begin with breath that remembers you. Let every decision be birthed in your presence. Let me not run ahead of you, nor lag behind, but walk hand in hand, step by step, knowing that you are orchestrating things I can't yet see, aligning hearts, opening doors, and pouring grace in places I'll need it before I even arrive. Father, I don't just ask for answers, I ask for more of you. Because if I have your presence, I have everything. If I have your voice, I have direction. If I have your spirit, I have power that this world cannot shake. Let today not be built on busyness, but on belief. Let not be driven by fear, but by faith. Let my first words not be worry, but worship. So here I am, with open hands, with a willing heart, with eyes lifted to the hills from where my help comes. I declare over this day, God has it all figured out. I don't need to panic. I need to pray. I don't need to fix it. I need to faith it. I don't need to rush. I need to rest in you. You go before me. You surround me. You live within me. And because of that, this day is already victorious, not because it will be easy, but because it will be anointed. Because it begins with you. Because it is covered in prayer. Because it is surrendered to the one who never fails, never forgets, and never forsakes. So, Father, in the quiet stillness of this moment, I lean in even closer. I press my heart against yours. I want to hear you more clearly than I hear the noise of the world, more clearly than I hear the accusations of the enemy, more clearly than the echo of my own insecurities. Let your voice rise above the chaos like the morning sun piercing through the clouds. Let it remind me that this day is not random, not wasted, not overlooked by heaven. You have planned every breath, every meeting, every unseen miracle waiting just beyond what I can imagine. And Lord, I know that the enemy will try to rob me of this peace. He will attempt to distract me with deadlines, discourage me with delays, disarm me with doubt. But I will not be shaken. I will not be moved by the shadows, because I have seen the light, and the light is you. You are my lamp in the valley, my banner in the battle, my calm in the center of every storm. I don't face this day as a victim, I walk through it as a victor, not because of who I am, but because of who you are in me. You are the God of divine reversals. You turn mourning into dancing. You lift the lowly, mend the shattered, and give beauty for ashes. So I lay down every remnant of yesterday's sorrow. I won't carry into this new day the grief of what didn't happen, the regret of what went wrong, or the heaviness of what I couldn't fix. I declare in the name of Jesus that this is a new day, anointed, appointed, and filled with purpose that cannot be stolen. Let my mind be stayed on you, Lord, so that perfect peace may govern my thoughts. Let me be quick to pause and pray when interruptions come. Let me not respond with flesh, but with faith. Let my words drip with grace. Let my reactions be tempered with love. Let my decisions reflect wisdom that comes not from this world, but from the Spirit who lives in me. Make me slow to speak, quick to listen, and eager to discern your whispers between every heartbeat of this day. Father, teach me again that you are not a distant deity, but an ever-present help. You are not waiting at the end of this day to judge how I handled it. You are here with me in the middle of it, guiding, holding, empowering. You don't require perfection. You just ask for surrender. You don't demand performance. You just desire my presence. So I will meet you not just in this sacred morning hour, but in the coffee lines, in the traffic jams, in the awkward silences and crowded rooms. Everywhere I go, you go before me. Everywhere I step, your glory follows. I cannot escape your goodness, and I don't want to. And when the pressure rises, when things don't go as planned, when people misunderstand me, when delays come or doors close, I will remember that delay is not denial, that closed doors are often divine protection. I will remember that you are working in places I cannot see. You are moving pieces into place behind the curtain of time. What looks like silence is not absence. What feels like stillness is not inactivity. You are the God who moves mountains in the dark and parts seas before the first step is taken. I trust you not just with the outcomes, but with the in-between. So I release control again. I place my family in your hands. I place my job, my finances, my friendships, my health, my dreams, my disappointments, my questions, my hopes, all of I give back to the one who gave it to me in the first place. Not one thread of my life is invisible to you. Not one tear I've cried has gone unnoticed. You bottle them all. You account for them all. And in your perfect timing, you redeem them all. Holy Spirit, stir up boldness in me today. Let me not shrink from opportunities to speak life. Let me not miss the moments to extend compassion. Let me be a vessel of your power, not timid, not ashamed, not hesitant. Let me walk into rooms and shift atmospheres just by carrying your presence. Let demons flee when I speak your name. Let strongholds break when I lift my voice in praise. Let chains fall off others because I dared to pray boldly, out loud, unashamed. I know I was not called to blend into the background. I was called to be a light on a hill, a carrier of glory, an ambassador of heaven. So ignite in me a fire that doesn't fade when pressure comes. Let it grow stronger with every resistance. Let it shine brighter with every opposition. Make me dangerous to darkness, not because of what I do, but because of who you are in me. And God, I pray for divine appointments today. Bring people across my path who need what you've poured into me. Let every conversation be ordered by you. Let divine strategy flow into my business decisions. Let supernatural favor surround me like a shield. And when the enemy tries to bring confusion, remind me that I am seated in heavenly places with Christ Jesus, that I fight from victory, not for it. Make my life a living intercession today. Let everything I do be soaked in prayer. Let the way I speak to my children, my coworkers, my spouse, and even strangers reflect the deep river of peace that flows from knowing you. Let my presence remind others of your presence. Let me love like you, forgive like you, give like you, serve like you, not in my own strength, but through the enabling grace of the Holy Spirit. There is nothing too small to bring before you. There is nothing too broken that you cannot use. And there is no moment wasted when it's offered to you in prayer. So I give you this moment, and the next one, and the one after that. Let prayer not be an event I schedule, but the air I breathe. Let it become my default, my refuge, my rhythm. Not just in the morning, but at midday, in the evening, in the interruptions, in the uncertainties, in the quiet and the chaos. And when fear comes because it really won't entertain it, I will confront it with the truth. I will declare aloud that my God has it all figured out, that nothing takes you by surprise, that you are not reacting to my circumstances, you are ruling over them, that every need I have today has already been met in Christ Jesus, that every promise you made is still yes and amen, that no weapon formed against me shall prosper, that I am the head and not the tail, that I am chosen, set apart, empowered, and dearly loved. Let this day be drenched in purpose. Let it be infused with joy that defies reason. Let it be anchored in peace that confounds understanding. Let it be marked by breakthroughs, some that I will see with my eyes, and others that you are working out silently in the background. And even if nothing changes externally, let my internal world be transformed by the power of prayer. Let this be the day that I become more aware of your presence than I am of my problems. Let this be the day that faith roars louder than fear. Let this be the day that I remember who I am and whose I am. And as I go forward into all that this day may hold, I will continue to lift my eyes to you. I will continue to trust even when I cannot trace. I will continue to declare that your grace is enough, your timing is perfect, and your love never fails. I will continue to bow low before you, so that I may rise strong in you. I will not be moved. I will not be swayed. I will not be shaken, because my life is anchored in the one who cannot be moved. Let it continue as I step into the demands of the day, as I answer phone calls, read messages, make decisions, and face people. Let the fragrance of this communion linger on me, so that every place I walk into is saturated with the aroma of heaven. Let every word that leaves my mouth carry life and light, not because I strive to be holy, but because I have spent time in the presence of the Holy One. Let the residue of this encounter make me unrecognizable to the enemy, shielded, empowered, drenched in anointing, clothed in your glory. Father, I thank you that prayer is not just my life flinty, it's my inheritance. It's the place where your heart and mind meet in divine exchange. You take my fear and you give me courage. You take my confusion and you grant me wisdom. You take my limitations and replace them with your limitless grace. And it is in that place of exchange that I am transformed, not by effort, not by willpower, but by the sheer wonder of your Spirit working within me. Let me never forget that one whispered prayer can shift the trajectory of my day. One moment of stillness with you can change everything. So keep me coming back, not out of obligation, but out of hunger. Make me desperate for your voice. Let me never grow so busy that I miss the gentle tug of your Spirit, inviting me back to the secret place. Let me crave it more than success, more than applause, more than comfort. Even when the world around me spins fast, let me remain anchored. Let my roots go down so deep in you that no wind of circumstance can uproot me. Let my joy not be based on things working out, but on the unshakable truth that you are working it all together for my good. Even when I walk through shadows, I will not fear, because you are with me. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies, not to taunt them, but to remind me that even surrounded by threats, I feast in peace. I know that breakthroughs are not just found in the loud moments and the declarations, the shouts, the mountaintop praise, but also in the quiet obedience, the simple yes, the patient waiting, the sacred trust. And so, Lord, as I yield to you again and again throughout this day, I declare that every small act of faith, every hidden prayer, every unseen obedience is a seed that you will cause to flourish in your perfect time. You are not the God of maybe. You are the God of yes. You are not hesitant about blessing me. You are eager to pour out your goodness, because that is who you are. You are a Father who delights in his children, who celebrates when we choose to come close, who opens the windows of heaven when we lean into prayer instead of panic. So today, I choose delight over dread. I choose surrender over stress. I choose faith over fear. And I choose prayer over pressure. Make me mindful, Father. Help me catch the little miracles you plant throughout the day, the smile of a stranger that lifts my spirit, the breeze that feels like a kiss from heaven, the unexpected kindness, the perfectly timed text, the moment of silence that feels like a sacred hush. These are not accidents. These are love notes from you, reminders that I am never alone, that you are not only the God of the miraculous, but the God of the minute details, orchestrating grace into every fragment of my story. And when I feel like I'm slipping, like the ground beneath me is unstable, remind me that I'm standing on the rock that cannot be moved. Let your word be my anchor, my compass, my sword. Let me run to it like a refuge, meditate on it like my breath, declare it like my weapon. And when I don't have strength to speak, let me just rest in your presence, because rest is still warfare when it's anchored in you. I ask you to guard my mind, Lord. Let no lie take root. Let no seed of doubt grow. Uproot every deception that says I'm not enough, that things will never change, that you've forgotten about me. Burn away every thought that exalts itself above the knowledge of Christ. Let the fire of your truth refine my thinking. Let me not just know you in theory, but experience you in reality. Let the theology of my lips become the testimony of my life. And Father, if today brings pain, help me to press in instead of pulling away. Help me to praise when I don't feel like it, to worship when it hurts, to bless your name even when I have questions. Because true faith is not built and comforted, is forged in the fire. And I trust you, even in the fire, especially in the fire, because I know it does not consume, might purifies me. It prepares me for greater things. It draws me closer to the only one who is truly unchanging. And I know that while I'm here, praying, surrendering, believing you are moving. Angels are being dispatched. Chains are breaking. Hearts are softening. Provision is being prepared. Healing is flowing. Doors are opening that no man can shut. Because prayer doesn't just change things, it aligns me with the one who changes everything. So I come again. I keep coming, moment by moment, breath by breath, heartbeat by heartbeat. I don't pray because I have to, pray because I get to. I pray because it is where I find you. And where I find you, I find everything I need. Let me not be addicted to answers, but devoted to presence. Let my worship be more than a song. Let it be the posture of my soul. Let my gratitude overflow, not because everything is perfect, but because you are present. Because even when the storm rages, you are in my boat. And if you are in my boat, it cannot sink. It may rock, it may shake, but it will not go under. So today, I sail forward not with fear, but with faith. Because you're the wind in my sails. You are the captain of my soul. You are the keeper of my peace. And no matter what this day holds, it must bow to the power of the one who holds me. Let this communion never stop, Lord. Let this rhythm of prayer, this flow of intimacy, This holy conversation continue throughout every hour. Let it spill into every room I walk into every email I send, every conversation I have, every task I complete. Let my life be a sanctuary. Let my heart be an altar. Let my body be a temple where your spirit dwells richly and freely. So let it burn, Lord. Let this fire of intimacy never go out. Fan the embers of my heart until they become a roaring flame of passion for you. Let the fire on this altar never be quenched by the demands of life, the distractions of the world, or the subtle lies of the enemy. Let my spirit remain alert, aware, awakened to the movement of your hand. Even in the smallest details, let me sense your nearness when I breathe, when I walk, when I pause in the middle of the noise to whisper your name. Make my life a declaration that you are enough. That even when I don't get what I want, I have what I need because I have you. Strip me of every false dependence, every counterfeit comfort, every crutch I've leaned on instead of your presence. You are my portion, my provider, my healer, my defender, my counselor, my shepherd. There is no area of my life that you are not interested in. No space too messy for you to enter. No burden too heavy for you to lift. No fear too dark for your light to shatter. Today, I do not walk alone, I walk in step with you. I don't walk ahead of you trying to figure it out. And I don't lag behind dragging my feet in doubt. I walk beside you, hand in hand, knowing you delight in this companionship more than I ever could. You didn't just save me to use me. You saved me to know me, to love me, to be with me. So I will not measure my value by what I accomplished today. I will measure it by how often I return to you, how open I keep my heart, how much I abide. And when my flesh tries to rise, when impatience flares, when offense whispers, when comparison creeps in, remind me to return again and again to this place of prayer. Let me be quick to humble myself, to repent without shame, to seek your wisdom instead of my pride. Make me teachable. Keep my heart tender. Don't let success harden me or failure crush me. Keep me soft in your hands, like clay in the potter's palm, always ready to be shaped for your glory. Father, I pray for those I will encounter today. Let them not just see Methy, see you in me. Let them feel love before I speak a word. Let my presence interrupt heaviness, bring rest to the weary, peace to the anxious, and hope to the broken. Use me in ways I don't even notice. Let my life echo with the sound of heaven, so that others feel the pulse of eternity even in our briefest interaction. And God, when I'm tempted to give in, to quit, to shut down, to numb out, breathe fresh courage into me. When I feel unseen, remind me that you are the God who sees. When I feel unheard, remind me that you bend down to listen. When I feel weary, remind me that even youths grow tired and stumble, but those who wait on the Lord shall renew their strength. Let me be one of the ones who waits, not passively, but expectantly, not impatiently, but with deep assurance that the one I wait for is worth it. I will not settle for shallow waters. I want to go deeper. I want to live fully immersed in the flow of your Spirit. I want to wake up with purpose and lie down in peace, knowing I did not rush through this life, ignoring what mattered most. I want to live with eternal perspective, to fix my gaze not on what is seen, but on what is unseen. To see beyond the deadlines, the errands, the headlines, and see you enthroned in glory, still in control, still writing redemption into every line of my story. You are the God who turns graves into gardens, mourning into dancing, dry bones into armies. You specialize in the impossible. So I will not fear the impossible today. I will pray into it. I will praise in the face of it. I will prophesy over it, not because I have the power, but because I carry the authority of the one who does. Let my tongue speak life, not just over myself, but over others, over my family, over my co-workers, over the discouraged, the confused, the forgotten. Let my words call out destiny where others see despair. Let me be a voice that breaks shame and awakens purpose. Let my lips be trained in truth. Let no idle word fall from my mouth. Let every sentence carry your breath. And in the silence too, God, be with me. Not just in the noise of praise, but in the sacred hush of the in-between moments. In the pause between tasks. In the moments I stare out the window and let the weight of the day settle. Be the stillness in my soul. Let your whisper cut through my racing thoughts like a river through dry land. Let your peace settle over me like morning dew, gentle, consistent, nourishing. And as I pour myself out today, refill me, Lord. Don't let me run on empty. Let me not give what I do not first receive. Let everything I offer others be the overflow of what I have drawn from you. Teach me to rest even while working. Teach me to abide even while moving. Teach me to lead from a place of listening, to serve from a place of being saturated in you. I declare again, over every fear, over every need, over every uncertainty, you have it all figured out. I'm not in charge of outcomes, I am in charge of obedience. I don't need to carry tomorrow because you're already there. I don't need to understand every step just the next one you're asking me to take. I don't need all the answers. I just need your hand in mine. Let the rhythm of heaven set the pace of my day. Let me walk slower if it means I walk with you. Let me stop and notice what you're doing in the places I'd normally rush past. Let me savor your presence, even in traffic. Let me worship you not just with songs, but with my focus, with my attitude, with how I love the one in front of me. Let my life become the prayer I started this morning with. Because when I start with prayer, I start with power. When I start with prayer, I start with peace. When I start with prayer, I'm already in victory, already surrounded, already equipped. So let every breath today return to that truth. Let my soul find its rhythm in that reality. Let my spirit stay in posture, not just kneeling in the morning, but bowed in reverence throughout the entire day. You are my refuge and my reward. You are the calm in every storm, the strength in every weakness, the joy in every sorrow. And I will keep returning again and again to the place where my heart meets yours and my worries disappear in the weight of your glory. Because in your presence, Lord, I am reminded that I was never meant to carry these weights alone. I was created for communion, designed to dwell, not to perform, not to earn, but to simply be with you. And when I dwell with you, I am changed. My burdens shrink in the shadow of your greatness. My chaos finds rhythm in the cadence of your spirit. My brokenness finds balm in the nearness of your love. You make me whole without requiring me to first fix myself. You clothe me in righteousness I could never afford. You crown me with mercy that never runs out. You take my every flaw, every weakness, every fearful whisper, and you speak truth over it all. You tell me that I am yours, that I am chosen, that I am not disqualified by my past, that I am not forgotten in the waiting, that I am not unseen in the crowd, that I am known fully, deeply, intimately, and still fully loved. So I rise in that truth, not in arrogance, but in authority, not in pride, but in purpose. You did not call me to survive this life. You called me to shine, to rise, to walk in power, and carry light into dark places. Let me be bold with my prayers today. Let me not offer you weak, half-hearted requests, but pray the kind of prayers that shake foundations and move heaven. Let me believe you for the impossible. Let me believe you for healing in bodies, restoration in families, reconciliation in relationships, provision in deserts, and open doors in the face of walls. Let me not speak from what I see, but from what you have spoken. Let me declare promises over my life like arrows shot in faith, knowing they will land where you aim them. Let me not grow weary in doing good. Let me not retreat when resistance rises. Let me not pull back when the breakthrough is just beyond the pressure. Let me hold fast, knowing you reward those who diligently seek you. Even when I can't feel it, you are working. Even when I don't see it, you are moving. Even when I feel tired, the spirit inside me is never tired. So stir up endurance in me. Let your strength rise within me. Let hope be my song and faith be my banner. And in the moments where I'm misunderstood or falsely accused or rejected, remind me that Jesus, too, was misunderstood, that he stood silent before his accusers, that he bore shame so I wouldn't have to. Let me love my enemies, not with gritted teeth, but with genuine compassion. Let me forgive not because they deserve it, but because I am forgiven. Let me live unoffended. Let me walk in the kind of grace that disarms bitterness and unlocks freedom. Today, Lord, let your spirit interrupt my agenda. Let me be flexible for divine detours. If you say go, I will go. If you say wait, I will wait. If you say speak, I will speak with boldness. And if you say be still, I will quiet my soul and listen. I don't want to just do good things. I want to do God things. I don't want to just be busy. I want to be fruitful. I want every step, every word, every action to echo eternity. Let this day be filled with reminders of your love. Let me see it in the laughter of children, in the kindness of a stranger, in the quiet beauty of a sunrise. Let me not miss the small wonders while waiting for the big miracles. Let me be fully present to the sacred now. For I know that even in the mundane, you are miraculous. Even in the ordinary, you are glorious. Fill my mind with truth so that lies lose their grip. Fill my heart with joy so that sorrow cannot take root. Fill my hands with purpose so that idleness flees. Fill my mouth with praise so that complaints wither. I want my life to echo your goodness so loudly that even those who don't yet know you feel drawn to the warmth of your light. And Lord, I lift up the burdens I'm carrying for others. You know the names written on my heart, the family members who are far from you, the friends who are battling sickness, the souls who are drowning in anxiety, addiction, depression. I lift them to you now, not as a final act of desperation, but as a bold act of trust. You are the God who sees them, the God who calls prodigals home, the God who heals with one word, the God who restores what years have stolen. Let your mercy rush to them. Let your spirit surround them. Let angels encamp around their homes and fill their rooms with peace. Use me, God, not just in public, but in private. Let who I am when no one's watching be even more aligned with you than who I appear to be. Shape my character in the hidden place. Search me, test me, refine me. Break what needs breaking, rebuild what needs strengthening. I want to be trusted with more, but only if I can be trusted with less. I want to carry influence, but only if it flows from intimacy. May every success I experience today only push me closer to you, never further. May every compliment be turned into a crown I lay at your feet. May every moment of favor remind me that without you, I am nothing, but with you, I lack nothing. You are the treasure. You are the goal. You are the reason I rise and the place I rest. Let me never forget that prayer is not an event, it is a lifestyle. It is not a checkbox, it is the conversation that sustains me. So teach me to talk to you through everything. In the grocery store, in the hallway, in the tears, in the laughter. Let me walk through this life, praying always in the mountaintops, in the valleys, and everywhere in between. Because every moment without prayer is a moment I try to live in my own strength. And I know now that I don't want to live a single second apart from you. You're not just the answer to my prayers, you are the very prayer itself. You are the longing. You are the fulfillment. You are the Alpha and the Omega of my soul's desire. And as your beloved, I will not shrink back. I will not live beneath the level of intimacy you've made possible for me. I will not tiptoe in fear around the edges of your presence when you've called me to come boldly before you. I will no longer accept crumbs of peace when you offer a feast of joy. I will no longer settle for momentary strength when you promise rivers of living water flowing within me. You, O God, are not withholding. You are extravagant in mercy, generous in grace, and relentless in love. So I open my heart wider still. Break down every wall that I've built in self-defense. Tear apart every lie that tells me I'm too broken, too far gone, too inadequate. For in your presence, I am reminded that you delight in using the unqualified, the overlooked, the ordinary to display your extraordinary glory. You chose David when others saw a shepherd boy. You chose Mary, a young virgin, to carry the Messiah. You chose fishermen to become apostles. So why would I doubt that you could use me right here, right now, exactly as I am? Let every breath I take today echo with thanksgiving. Let every word be filtered through reverence. Let my pace slow to match yours, so I don't miss the divine appointments you've hidden in what looks like an ordinary schedule. Help me see interruptions not as annoyances, but as opportunities for your glory to break through. Help me to view inconveniences as open doors for compassion, for patience, for grace to be revealed in me. When my body grows tired and my mind feels overwhelmed, be the still point in my spinning world. Be the breath that steadies my pulse. Be the hand that calms my restlessness. Be the whisper that pulls me back to peace. Remind me that I do not have to perform for you, that your love isn't based on how together I seem, that even on the days when I falter, you remain faithful. Even when I wander, your mercy finds me. Even when I grow distant, your arms remain open. And Lord, I thank you for the trials I don't understand, for I know you waste nothing. Not one tear, not one broken dream, not one long night. You are the master weaver, threading gold into my deepest wounds, making beauty from ashes in ways I cannot comprehend. I surrender not just to what you've done, but to what you're still doing. I trust the process because I trust the person behind it. I surrender to the pruning because I know it precedes fruitfulness. So prune me, refine me, stretch me, just don't leave me the same. Let my faith today not be passive, but active. Let it be seen in how I speak to those who frustrate me, how I respond to those who misunderstand me, how I handle the moments that don't go my way. Let my worship not just be lifted in songs, but lived out in service. Let the way I treat the least of these reflect how much I've been loved by the greatest of all. And when I encounter darkness, whether in people, places, or circumstances, let me remember that light is not intimidated by darkness. Let me be unshaken, unafraid, unwavering. Let me speak your name boldly, not in volume, but in authority. For the name of Jesus still breaks chains, still casts out demons, still silences storms, still brings dead things to life. So I carry your name with me today, not as a label, but as a banner. I am marked by your Spirit. I am sealed by your promise. I am filled with resurrection power. Let me walk like it. Let me speak like it. Let me love like it. Let me serve like it. Not to earn your affection, but because I already live from a place of being fully known and fully loved. And when the enemy comes whispering again, telling me I'm not enough, that I've failed too many times, that nothing will change, I will silence him not with my own strength, but with the word you have written over my life. I will remind him that I am redeemed, restored, and rooted, that I am surrounded, sustained, and seen, that I am chosen, called, and covered, that I am not fighting for victory, I am fighting from it. Today is not just another day, it is a day you have made. I will rejoice in it. I will not miss the miracles you've hidden in plain sight. I will not overlook the blessings disguised as burdens. I will not withhold my praise until things feel perfect. I will praise you now, in the tension, in the waiting, in the becoming, because you are worthy always. Not just when prayers are answered, but because you are the answer. You, Lord, are my portion and my prize, my beginning and my end, my joy and my justice, my song in the silence and my shelter in the storm. You are the breath in my lungs and the fire in my bones. You are my reason to rise, my strength to stand, my hope to endure. You are everything, and still you give more. So I will lean in. I will tune my ear to the frequency of heaven. I will let your word be the loudest voice I hear today. I will remember that it is not by might, not by power, but by your spirit that things shift. Mountains move, chains fall, lives change. I walk into today not as a survivor, but as an ambassador, not with a spirit of fear, but with power, love, and a sound mind, not seeking validation from the world, but anchored in the truth that I am already accepted by the one who matters most. I will not worry. I will not run ahead. I will not give in to the pressure to control what only you can carry. I will start with prayer, and I will stay in prayer. I will breathe in grace and exhale trust. I will hold loosely to the temporary and cling tightly to the eternal. I will live aware of you, aware of others, aware of this precious gift called today. Here, in this hush of your presence, my spirit expands to hold the weight of your wonder, yet even the widest reach of my heart cannot contain all that you are. Still I stretch, hungry to discover more of your depths, eager to be immersed in currents of revelation that sweep me further into your mysteries. Let the river of your wisdom surge through every chamber of my mind, washing away stale assumptions and clearing space for holy possibilities. Let torrents of courage rise, breaking dams of hesitation, so I move wherever your whisper leads, whether into boardrooms or back alleys, into sacred silence or spirited song. Today, Father, tune every sense to heaven's frequency. Let my eyes discern unseen battles where angels war on behalf of prayers uttered in faith. Let my ears catch the subtle cadence of grace beneath the clamor of news and notifications. Let my tongue taste the sweetness of your promises before circumstances even shift. Let my hands thrill with the electricity of compassion, ready to carry tangible hope to the hopeless. Let my feet feel the pulse of divine purpose in each step, knowing no ground I tread is ordinary when you have ordained my path. As dawn grows into full day, anoint my perception so I recognize disguised kings and hidden queensimage bearers wrapped in rags of discouragement, royalty buried beneath rubble of regret. Grant me words that excavate their worth, gaze that calls out their glory, patience that waits for petals to unfold in time. And when I meet hostility, clothe me in the gentleness that disarms. When I encounter indifference, let unfeigned interest become a key that unlocks guarded hearts. Breathe through every project I tackle, every spreadsheet, every lesson plan, every surgical stitch, every brushstroke, every steering wheel turn. Sanctify the seemingly small until spreadsheets become psalms of stewardship, stitches become signs of restoration, and commutes become caravans of worship. Fill corporate corridors with the fragrance of Christ. Saturate hospital halls with healing whispers. Turn factory floors into fields ripe for miracles. Convert classrooms into green pastures where young minds drink living water. Lord, I intercede for cities swollen with anxiety, nations throbbing with unrest, leaders weighed down by impossible decisions. Let wisdom rise like dawn over parliaments and provincial councils, state houses and village squares. Redirect agendas that breed oppression, dethrone ideologies that devour the vulnerable, seed policies with righteousness that exalts a people. May revival crest across continents' voiceless streets, erupting in songs of salvation. War-scarred valleys echoing shouts of reconciliation. Drought-cracked soil springing with justice like rivers that cannot be dammed. Teach me to steward time, the way seasoned gardeners steward sunlight, turning every sliver into sustenance. When interruptions knock, remind me they might be invitations wearing unfamiliar clothes. When delays linger, remind me they can become greenhouses where character roots deeper. When accolades arrive, remind me they are mirrors reflecting your generosity, not medals to construct my identity. Spirit of truth, walk me back through memories still tender with pain. Touch the moments where betrayal branded my confidence, where grief bent my dreams, where shame darkened my laughter. Lift those fragments into your light. Relay the melody of redemption over them until scars sing rather than sting, testimonies etched upon my skin, declaring that nothing in your hands returns void. And Father, I lift generations yet unborn, the great-grandchildren who will glean courage from our choices today. May the prayers we sow become shade trees under which they find rest. May the songs we raise become maps guiding them through future storms. May the compassion we practice carve highways of hope across decades. Let cycles of dysfunction shatter here, now. With this surrender, so legacy rings with liberty. Even as daylight fades later, let twilight not dim my devotion. Teach my soul to glow in the dark radiant with trust when vision shrinks. Steadfast when schedule's quiet, watchful for night blooming wonders. Let moonlit hours resound with whispered intercession. For first responders patrolling quiet streets, for travelers beneath foreign skies, for refugees cradling children beside border fires, for lonely hearts scrolling bright screens in dim rooms. Blanket each one with a nearness accompanying every earnest cry. And should sleep slip from my eyes, convert wakefulness into worship. Let each heartbeat echo, you are faithful still. Should dreams visit, ink them with clarity that guides tomorrow. When dawn circles back, may I rise lighter, having emptied anxieties into your endless capacity, having exchanged weariness for wings, so that when morning's first gold reaches through the curtains once again, my soul will already be soaring, prepared to partner with dawn in proclaiming fresh mercies. And as my heart ascends, let gratitude rise like incense, drifting into every crevice of thought until even the hidden corners echo. Holy, holy, holy is the Lord God Almighty, who was and is to come. Father, continue to widen the borders of my expectancy until I see fields white for harvest in coffee shop conversations, until I glimpse swirling angelic activity in hospital corridors, until grocery aisles become tabernacles where your kindness heals invisible wounds. Teach me to read the day like scripture, every hour a verse, every meeting a metaphor, every breath a testimony of relentless grace. Let me trace your handwriting in sunsets smeared across city skylines, in raindrops stippling dusty leaves, in the rhythmic crash of ocean against ancient rock, each heartbeat of creation chanting, "He is faithful." Stir within me an unquenchable hunger for your word. May these pages become living fire in my bones, revelation leaping from familiar lines, secrets tucked between syllables, strategies nestled in footnotes. Let meditation bloom into movement, promises translated into patience with the slow learner, hope converted into hospitality for the wanderer, wisdom matured into justice for the oppressed. And where my flesh hesitates, let obedience overrule convenience, for I know delayed obedience breeds diluted breakthrough. Holy Spirit, escort me beyond surface prayer into depths where sighs become language and tears compose doxology. In that submerged silence, search motives I cannot fathom, untangle ambitions knotted by comparison, rinse every intention until only love remains. Baptize imagination so dreams align with kingdom blueprints, visions sturdy enough to survive desert seasons, yet pliable enough to bend under fresh wind. Frame my future with eternal timber. Hammer each beam with nails of conviction. Roof it in fearless trust. I lay before you every relationship entrusted to me. Friendships budding like spring, decades-old bonds weathered yet resilient, fragile ties strained by misunderstanding. Infuse them all with the gentleness that listens long, the bravery that speaks truth softly, the humility that chooses reconciliation over being right. Teach my tongue the cadence of edification, my tone the relief of empathy, my timing the elegance of wisdom, so conversations become corridors where heaven and earth converge. For my family, I petition rivers of revival. May spouses bless without bitterness, generations worship side by side, prodigals sense home's fragrance on evening breezes. Unlatch ancestral gates slammed by disgrace. Let the King of Glory ride in, carrying healing for hereditary wounds, laughter for long silence halls, vision for futures once forfeited. Let lineage become leverage for legacy, every branch bearing fruit that nourishes neighborhoods and nations. Over my labor, whether wielding pen or plow, keyboard or scalpel, grant anointing that transcends skill. Make excellence my offering, integrity my signature, creativity my song. Protect me from success that outpaces character. Tether influence to intimacy, productivity to prayer. And when results lag behind effort, remind me the harvest obeys divine calendars, not human clocks. Help me rejoice in unseen roots as fervently as in blooming branches. I intercede for broken systems groaning under injustice, economies tilting toward greed, courts swayed by power, classrooms starved of resources, clinics overwhelmed by despair. Ignite reformers whose courage is kind, whose strategies are steeped in secret place intercession. Let policy be shaped by prophetic insight, budgets balanced by compassion, leadership laced with servant hearts. May righteousness and peace embrace in city squares. Mercy and truth meet beneath Capitol domes. Guard my mental landscape. Lord, Let no rogue thought roam unchecked. Station peace like sentries at neural gates. Deploy joy as artillery against despair. Plant scriptures like vineyards on cognitive hillsides, converting toxins into testimonies. When night terrors prowl, flood corridors of memory with light-each recollection rewoven into redemptive tapestry. Where chemical storms churn, speak, peace, be still, and calibrate neurochemistry back to shalom. Equip my body as a living instrument of worship, lungs expanding with hallelujahs, hands lifting the weary, feet ferrying good news across invisible borders. Strengthen immune lines, repair cellular breaches, oil arthritic hinges, quicken sluggish metabolism, steady errant rhythms of heart. Let health become holy leverage, stamina serving spiritual assignment, not vanity. And in infirmity's shadows, let resilient praise confound prognosis, showcasing treasure in jars of clay. Surround me with a fellowship fierce in faithfulness, friends who call out royalty when I stoop to rags, watchmen who warn when compromise courts my gates, midwives who coach destiny into daylight. Knit our hearts with cords of covenant unfazed by distance, misunderstanding, or delay. Where offense has frayed unity, weave forgiveness double strong. Where jealousy once whispered, orchestrate honor's anthem. Where apathy dulled edges, sharpen zeal on iron friendship. Father, extend my compassion horizon until borders blur between mine, and yours until refugee tents become my guest room. Orphan cries my lullaby, persecuted saints my prayer partners, trafficked souls my daughters and sons. Teach me generosity that subtracts nothing from abundance, hospitality that harvests joy from inconvenience. Show me how daily choice fair trade coffee, kind commuting, truthful clicks can sculpt a more just world. Let wilderness seasons no longer whisper failure, but announce invitation. Deserts tune for burning bush dialogues, caves echoing resurrection rehearsal, prisons birthing epistles of unchained grace. Train my eyes to hunt manna in monotony, water in flinty rock, angels in stranger attire. May scars evolve into maps, guiding others out of mazes I once wandered. And when accolades applaud, keep me low-faced to earth, crown cast down, marveling that dust can carry divinity. Teach me the paradox that greatness grows in downward roots. The more I descend in service, the higher your glory ascends. Spare me the tragedy of self-exaltation. Bless me with the safety of humility. As hours roll forward, let spontaneous doxologies detonate in commonplace corridors, while folding laundry, drafting reports, coaching teams, mending toys. Convert sighs into Selah, errands into Eucharist, small talk into sacred exchange. May digital footprints trace kindness, every keystroke drip encouragement, algorithms bend toward edification. And when evening paints skies in bruised purples and gold rekindles at the horizon's lip, escort my thoughts back to gratitude's hearth. Review the day with me, celebrate obedience, spotlight lessons, forgive missteps, restore zeal. Then wrap me in blankets of promised rest, where dreams become classrooms for tomorrow's obedience. Yet even as eyelids lower, keep spirit ears alert to night watches. Should you whisper names of nations, I will sway in sleep-soft intercession. Should you unveil faces needing mercy, I will breathe blessing between snores. For friendship with God deserts no hour. Intimacy knows no curfew. Thus, from first light's hush to star-strewn silence, let unbroken communion weave every second prayer the warp. Presence the weft tuntle the tapestry of this single day glows with the evidence that you, Emmanuel, walked every inch beside me, within me, through me and Father. Should the coming dawn unveil terrain I have never traversed, uncharted joys or unexpected griefs anchor my confidence in the constancy of your character. You who suspended galaxies with syllables will not let my footsteps falter. Enfold my uncertainty within the certainty of your goodness, till dread dissolves beneath the warmth of your nearness. Teach my pulse the rhythm of trust, so steady that unforeseen news cannot jar its cadence, so deep that shifting circumstances only amplify its song. Enlarge my inner sanctuary until it can cradle nations in intercession. Let me feel the heartbeat of a mother in Caracas praying for bread, the silent plea of a young student in Hanoi longing for purpose, the midnight tears of a physician in Gaza stitching hope into bomb-torn bodies. May their burdens find runway on my tongue, lifting as petitions to your throne where no translation is needed, no accent misunderstood. And as I pray, let compassion conspire with creativity, birth ideas, initiatives, alliances that become answers with flesh and framework, blueprints and budgets, hands and feet. Pour prophetic courage into children who will wake for school today. Cloak them in armor forged of affirmation. Lace their curiosity with discernment. Let playgrounds resound with laughter that chases away shadows haunting their homes. Raise them as truth-tellers in a culture trading authenticity for applause, as bridge builders in halls divided by inherited prejudice. May their imaginations partner with heaven to script stories of peace our generation only dreamed. For every artist brushing pigment on blank canvas, every coder composing silent symphonies of logic, every farmer reading weathered soil like scripture, every caregiver holding trembling fingers at hospice bedsides infuse their labor with the vibrancy of Eden. Let excellence become evangelism, colors preaching resurrection, algorithms echoing order, harvests heralding providence, gentle hands revealing Emmanuel. Where cynicism has dulled wonder, resurrect childlike, that peers at commonplace miracles through lenses newly washed. And for the earth itself groaning beneath plastic seas and fevered atmosphere commission stewards whose innovation bows to reverence. Inspire breakthroughs that heal without exploiting, technologies that mimic the humility of dew, economies that revolve around generosity, not greed. Let deserts bloom beneath sustainable streams, coral reefs rise like cathedrals restored, wildlife corridors weave continents into quilted sanctuaries of biodiversity. Teach humanity the liturgy of coexistence until dominion resembles discipleship, servant-hearted, restorative, kind. Guard the unseen battlefield of digital realms, where algorithms lure attention into endless scrolling caverns, where anonymity emboldens cruelty, where truth is bartered for clicks. Raise prophetic voices fluent in code and compassion, apostles of authenticity threading grace through timelines. Let every device glow with potential for gospel rather than gossip. May screens become windows for wonder, portals for prayer, chains linking lonely rooms into global cathedrals of praise. Spirit of holiness, invade the margins where policy ends but pain persists, detention centers echoing with languages of loss, alleyways where addiction bargains dignity for a fleeting high, nursing homes where silence grows thick as cobwebs. Walk those corridors in borrowed shoes of kindness. Let ordinary believers become extraordinary emissaries, translating your tenderness into warm meals, listening ears dignified touch. Remind the forgotten that heaven's census never erases their names. When storms literal or figurative gather on horizons, teach me to stand like ancient oaks, roots sunk deep in living water, branches lifted in unbroken praise. Let winds only prune what hinders fruit, lightning illuminate truths obscured by complacency, rain baptize weary soil for greater yield. And after tempests pass, let rainbows stretch as covenant signatures across my sky. Promises intact, purposes advanced, praise multiplied. I surrender every timeline I have drafted: an assumption marriage by 30, promotion by spring, healing by the next scan. Replace them with holy anticipation that refuses to tether joy to deadlines. If dreams linger in gestation longer than hoped, keep hope alive in hidden wombs. If visions mature sooner than expected, grant humility to steward them. Whether you speak suddenly or slowly, teach me to translate both as surely. Let forgiveness flow like a river, cleansing ancestral gorges. I release debts carved by careless words, betrayals stamped with dates I once rehearsed. Dismantle memorials to bitterness I've subconsciously erected. Build altars of remembrance where mercy triumphed over judgment. As I forgive, forge in me resilience that cannot be recalibrated by offense, serenity impervious to slander, empathy deeper than history's wounds. May marriage covenants bloom like walled gardens alive, with fragrant trust vines of communication climbing high, laughter pollinating intimacy, conflicts pruned with patience. For singles traversing seasons of solitude, transform waiting rooms into greenhouses where identity grows unshadowed by comparison. For widows and widowers carrying love's echo, compose symphonies of comfort in quiet spaces. Remind them that memories are seeds, not tombstones. Jesus, you are still the resurrection and the life in oncology wards and in economies on life support, at gravesides where unanswered questions tremble like wilted flowers. Breathe Easter into every Friday night of the soul. Let tombstones become touchstones of testimony, rolled stones reverberating with the cadence of but God. Where diagnoses read terminal, let peace read eternal. Where jobs evaporate, let provision infiltrate through ravens and widows' oil, scholarships and side hustles, manna baked in ovens of kindness. Teach my finances to sing doxology, budgets harmonizing with benevolence, savings aligned with stewardship, expenses trimmed by contentment. Cancel greed subscriptions, upgrade generosity to premier status. In spending, let compassion outbid impulse. In investing, let impact outrank ego. Multiply loaves disguised as small salaries, fish disguised as freelance hours. Fill basket for sharing long after appetite is sated. Make my home a lighthouse where weary travelers find steady glow. Let prayers soak drywall, scripture frame thresholds, worship soundtrack routines. May couches become confessionals safe from condemnation. Dining tables altars where stories satisfy deeper than food. Grant us hospitality whose authenticity disarms awkwardness, whose listening repairs fractures unseen. And when doors close for rest, station angels as night watch, that dreams remain untainted and dawn's entrance unopposed. As seasons turn, let autumn teach me release sleeves, relinquishing glory without regret. Forests trusting burial beneath snow will birth spring again. Let winter tutor me in stillness where sap slows but roots deepen, where cold clarifies silhouettes of strength. Let spring rehearse resurrection in blossoms bold against gray memory, and summer command celebration under canopies of abundance. Within each cycle, keep my spirit evergreen. Lord of the harvest, embolden missionaries disguised as baristas, diplomats clothed as diesel mechanics, counselors hidden in cubicles. Equip them with miracles tailored to context, prophetic words wrapped in humor, healing conveyed through spreadsheets, deliverance embedded in design blueprints. When they feel unseen, remind them covert assignments carry overt significance. And so the anthem of wonder expands, cresting over the landscape of this very moment like sunrise, spilling over a waiting horizon vivid, unstoppable, uncompromising. With each breath, I invite your spirit to stretch the canvas of my awareness wider, painting fresh strokes of revelation on the unseen places of my heart. Seal your promises onto my imagination until every idle thought transforms into intercession, every hopeful dream into a blueprint for kingdom impact. Let the cadence of your faithfulness regulate the tempo of my day, so that even tasks that once felt tedious pulse with the thrill of divine partnership. Guide my words to irrigate dry souls. May compliments flow like rivers, encouragement sparkle like unexpected streams in desert sands, constructive truth land as gently as dew. Strengthen my resolve to remain present, to notice the subtle slump in a colleague's shoulders or the flicker of fear behind a stranger's smile, and to respond with compassion swift and sure. Teach me that sincere attention is rare currency, and empower me to spend it lavishly, unafraid of depletion, trusting the well of your kindness can never run dry. Where division has scarred community, let me be mortar in fractured walls, binding neighbors through songs of shared humanity. Where apathy has dulled collective conscience, ignite sparks of creative solution that capture imaginations, restoring enthusiasm for the possible. Where injustice has calcified into systems of oppression, raise up in me a prophetic insistence on equity, anchored not in fleeting outrage, but in the enduring truth that every person bears your image and thus possesses a dignity beyond debate. Instill in my spirit a rhythm of Sabbath woven seamlessly through the weave of productivity, moments of holy pause amid momentum, still points of rest that remind my striving soul it is loved, not for output, but for existence. Help me measure success not by applause or accumulation, but by the quiet confidence that I listened when you whispered, I yielded when you nudged, I persevered when you strengthened, and I rejoiced when you revealed joy tucked in unexpected corners. May laughter punctuate my day like exclamation marks of grace, dispelling heaviness before it roots. May tears, when they come, water seeds of empathy rather than pools of self-pity. And should anger flare at witnessing harm, temper it with righteous purpose, lead me to rebuild rather than merely to rage, to intercede rather than to incubate bitterness, to strategize solutions infused with the gentleness that channels true power. Let history record that in this generation of global unrest and digital distraction, a people arose who refused to trade intimacy with you for the illusion of control, who chose the ancient path of prayer as their first and final resort. Let my life be numbered among the men, ordinary pilgrim, trusting an extraordinary God, traveling light, but carrying hope strong enough to share. And when night settles again, may the whisper that leaves my lips be simple and sincere. Gratitude for grace given, peace kept, and love multiplied, all to the glory of your incomparable name. And as I continue to walk this path of surrender, Lord, Let every fiber of my being respond to the movement of your spirit with full obedience, not half steps motivated by fear, not delayed responses filtered through doubt, but wholehearted, immediate, faith-born obedience. Let that obedience become a fragrance in my life that rises to you as worship, not in isolated moments of quiet devotion alone, but in the way I navigate traffic with patience, the way I answer emails with grace, the way I speak when no one is applauding and when someone is watching closely. Shape within me a character so firmly rooted in your presence that no storm, no spotlight, no criticism, and no praise can distort it. Father, let this life you've entrusted to me become an instrument that plays only the melodies of heaven. Whether in the hush of morning or the noise of midday or the stillness before midnight. Let my thoughts harmonize with truth. Let my actions beat in rhythm with your justice. And let my speech always be salted with eternity. I don't want to merely carry your name. I want to reflect your nature. I want to move as Jesus did, with hands ready to heal, feet ready to go, eyes ready to see, and a heart ready to be broken for what breaks yours. When I'm tempted to withdraw because the needs are too many and the pain too deep, remind me that you never turn away. When you saw the crowds, you didn't retreat in exhaustion, but were moved with compassion. Let that same compassion rise within men rooted in sentimentality, but anchored in conviction. Let it move me to give, to build, to serve, to speak, to stand, to kneel, to carry burdens that were never mine, yet become mine through love. May compassion not be a momentary feeling, but a way of Lithia, signature trait of those who belong to you. And God, if ever I begin to forget the miracle that is communion with you, the wonder of being invited into the inner courts of divine dialogue, the gift of access to the throne of grace, then stop me in my tracks. Let awe arrest me. Let reverence flood me. Let tears return if they've dried, and let hunger rise again if I've grown full on lesser things. May I never confuse familiarity with intimacy, never mistake spiritual motion for holy momentum. Keep my soul anchored in awareness that the King of Glory bends low to listen when I whisper, that the Maker of stars takes interest in my daily rhythm. Every moment of this day, whether bright with clarity or clouded in mystery, is still governed by your sovereignty. So I ask for courage not merely to endure it, but to engage it with faith. Let me be present to the beauty that's blooming, to the lessons unfolding, to the whispers of your voice in the most unexpected places. Let me not miss the miracle disguised as inconvenience, nor the breakthrough camouflaged in discomfort. Keep me awake to wonder and aware of the sacred pulsing through even the most ordinary tasks. If I am to face hardship today, let it refine me, not define me. If I am to be misunderstood, let it sanctify my motives and stretch my grace. If I am to wait, let me do so with worship, not with worry. If I am to lead, let me do so with humility. If I am to follow, let me do so with trust. And in all these things, let love be the banner over every response, the reason for every decision, the mark by which I'm recognized as yours. This, Lord, is the posture I long to live in, not only at dawn, but at every hour, yielded, expectant, emboldened by the knowledge that you are with me. Whether I stand on mountaintops or walk through shadowed valleys, whether I'm called to speak to crowds or serve in silence, may every heartbeat echo the declaration that I am not alone. I have prayed first, and in doing so, I have stepped into divine alignment. I have surrendered what I cannot control to the one who controls everything. I have exchanged panic for peace, striving for stillness, wandering for purpose. I have chosen to start this day with you, and that decision changes everything. So now, Father, as I carry the stillness of this sacred beginning into the unfolding hours, I ask that you make me continually aware of the invisible realm, the eternal reality that hovers just beyond what my natural eyes can perceive. Remind me that though the world measures by speed, you move by seasons. Though culture demands outcomes, you dwell in the process. Teach me to resist the urge to rush through what you are slowly sanctifying. Let me see delay not as denial, but as divine orchestration. Where others see detours, train my spirit to see divine direction. When doors close, let me not stand in confusion, but fall to my knees in trust, knowing you are not a God of confusion, but a God of clarity born through consecration. Help me to walk through this day with uncluttered clarity, undivided loyalty, and unshakable joy. Let the noise of the world grow strangely dim in the light of your unwavering presence. I don't want to live distracted by things that are fleeting notifications that interrupt peace, ambitions that outpace purpose, opinions that chip away at confidence. Instead, root me deeply in the soil of what truly matters. Let truth not merely be something I recite, but the atmosphere in which I breathe, the water I drink, the filter through which I see everyone and everything. And when challenges confront me and problems arise that logic cannot solve, help me to remember that I walk not by sight, but by faith. Let my reflex not be panic, but prayer. Let my first response be to lift my eyes, not clench my fists. Let me see with kingdom vision. Where man sees scarcity, you see seed. Where man sees the end, you speak of beginnings. Where man sees failure, you speak redemption. Train me to hear your voice above all others, whether in the quiet of morning or the roar of conflict. Let your whisper steady my soul and give shape to my courage. Make me a faithful steward of this day, Father. May I not waste the minutes you've given me, nor hoard them for selfish use, but invest them in love. Let me serve without announcement, give without expecting return, listen without rushing to reply. May my presence bring calm into anxious rooms and dignity into places where it's been stripped away. Let me bring laughter into sorrowful corners, assurance into uncertain spaces, and gentleness into every hurried interaction. Where frustration tempts me, grant me the grace to pause. Where impatience rises, let the fruit of your Spirit bloom. I pray especially for those whose lives intersect mine, today some by appointment, others by surprise. May every encounter be bathed in the awareness that you orchestrate divine moments for eternal impact. Help me to see beyond the surface, to recognize the cry beneath the complaint, the fear behind the anger, the hope hidden in the questions. Let my words be seasoned with truth, but wrapped in compassion. Let me not just talk about you, but carry you so fully that hearts are stirred and spirits are drawn not by argument, but by the undeniable pull of your love. Guard my integrity, Lord. In the small, unseen decisions of the day, let me choose what is right over what is easy. Let me honor you when no one's watching and when everyone is. Let me be the same in public as I am in private, and let my character shine brighter than any achievement or accolade. Strip away any desire to impress and replace it with a desire to please you. Remind me that the applause of man fades, but the approval of heaven echoes into eternity. Father, in moments when I feel overlooked, remind me that you never forget. When it feels like the seeds I'm sowing are falling into hard ground, help me trust that you are the Lord of the harvest, Remind me that I'm not laboring in vain, that every act of obedience is a seed with promise. Let me rejoice even before I see fruit, because I trust the one who waters in secret and brings increase in his perfect time. Even if my role is to sow while another reaps, let me do so with joy, knowing that we are co-laborers in a kingdom that is far bigger than my eyes can see. And if this day brings opposition, if I am misunderstood, misrepresented, or mistreated, let me respond not with retaliation, but with righteousness. Let me bless those who curse, pray for those who oppose, and release those who wound, not in weakness, but in holy strength that flows from knowing who I am and whose I am. You are my defender, my advocate, my shield. I need not swing a sword in the flesh when I can lift my voice in prayer and trust you to fight my battles. Sustain me through the hours, not with caffeine or adrenaline, but with the joy of the Lord as my strength. Let praise be the pulse that keeps me moving forward when energy wanes. Let worship become my fuel when demands increase. Let gratitude be the thread that stitches peace into the fabric of every moment. And when I'm tempted to focus on what is lacking, gently lift my gaze to all that has already been provided. You have been so faithful, so near, so kind. As the sun arcs overhead and shadows lengthen into evening, may my heart remain open, soft, and undivided. Let me end this day as I began in communion with you. Let the conversations, the choices, the victories, and the failures all return to you in offering. Let all be worship. Let it all be prayer. Let my life, in its totality, be a testimony not of perfection, but of pursuit. A life marked not by striving, but by surrender. A day lived not in fear, but in faith. And may each breath that passes through my lips echo this sacred truth. You, Lord, are enough. And now, as the first light of morning stretches across the sky once more, as the breath of a new day begins to stir the world awake, I return to this sacred space of first devotion, knowing that before any other voice speaks into my spirit, before any demand reaches my door, before any weight of the day has the chance to settle onto my shoulders, I want to be found here with you. In this place where time slows and eternity presses close, I rise not first in action, but in adoration. I rise not first in worry, but in worship. For this is how I choose to begin, not with scattered thoughts, not with anxious rushing, but with eyes fixed on the one who holds it all together. Because if I begin with you, then I begin with peace, with purpose, with promise. Let my first words today not be shaped by the noise of headlines or notifications, but by the eternal truth of your word. Let the scriptures not merely be read, but absorbed into my bloodstream, becoming the very structure of my hope, the foundation under my perspective, the filter through which I interpret everything. May your promises become louder than predictions, your faithfulness louder than fear, and your presence louder than pressure. I refuse to allow the world to dictate the tone of my morning when heaven is already speaking. So I open my heart like a window to the dawn and invite the wind of your spirit to blow fresh upon my soul. Father, awaken my senses not just to the beauty of creation, but to the beauty of purpose. Let me not see this sunrise as just another beginning, but as a divine appointment and invitation to co-labor with you in the unseen and the seen. Let every breath I draw be filled with awareness that this day was hand-carved by your intention. You have allowed me to live it, not by accident, but by design. I do not want to treat it casually, to trample over its sacred potential with mindless habits or indifferent choices. I want to honor it by stepping into it fully present, spiritually alert, and radically surrendered. As I put my feet on the floor, let it be an act of faith that wherever I go, you are already there. Whether it be the office or the kitchen, a classroom or a hospital hallway, a boardroom or a street corner, I step as one who carries the light of Christ. Let my posture reflect the kingdom. Let my demeanor represent heaven. Let my pace be governed not by pressure, but by presence. And when I feel the rush begin to pull at my peace, let me pause not to fall behind, but to fall deeper into alignment with you. For I would rather walk slowly with God than run ahead without Him. Equip me, Lord, for whatever this day may hold. Clothe me in compassion. Gird me with courage. Anoint my speech with grace, and fortify my spirit with discernment. Let me not be driven by productivity alone, but by the fruit of the Spirit growing in me. Let love lead my interactions, patience rule my delays, gentleness season my responses, and self-control govern my impulses. Let my work be worship, my chores be consecrated, my interruptions be invitations. Let my schedule be surrendered. Let my goals be held loosely. Let my expectations bow to your eternal will. And as I encounter others, whether family or stranger, friend or foe, let me bring with me the residue of this sacred communion. Let them feel the peace I have received here. Let them sense the joy that was born in this early hour. Let the atmosphere I carry be one that softens hearts, opens doors, and reveals Jesus without needing to preach, without needing to prove. Just presence, just love, just light. If I encounter trial today, may my first instinct be to remember that I am not walking into it alone. You go before me. You surround me. You walk beside me, and you dwell within me. Let adversity sharpen my faith instead of hardening my heart. Let resistance strengthen my resolve instead of weakening my hope. Let disappointment deepen my dependence instead of breeding resentment. Let me hold fast to what is unshakable, so that even when the world trembles, I stand firm. And if today is a day of joy, of beauty, of laughter and delight, let me not forget you in the sunlight. Let me not take credit for the favor or idolize the blessing, but return all glory to you, the giver of every good and perfect gift. Let gratitude well up from within me like an endless fountain, spilling over in a praise that no circumstance can mute. Let contentment rise like a shield over comparison. Let wonder blossom where cynicism once lived. Let the small, unnoticed miracles of life, the breath in my lungs, the warmth of the sun, the kindness of a word become reasons to worship. Father, remind me throughout the day that prayer is not something I leave behind in the early morning, but the lifeline I carry with me through every moment. Let me remain in constant conversation with you in the traffic, in the grocery line, in the mundane, and in the magnificent. Let my thoughts turn toward you naturally, easily, often. Let prayer become my reflex, my rhythm, my rest. Let every sigh be sacred, every smile a song, every breath a declaration, that this day belongs to you, and so do I. And as this early morning unfolds, Lord, with dew still resting on the grass and the world only beginning to stir, I thank you for the stillness, this sacred hush that allows me to hear you more clearly before the noise of life begins. In this quiet hour, I lay down all assumptions about how the day should go and pick up only one thing, a surrendered heart. I yield my will again, not reluctantly, but with joy, because I know that when I place the day into your hands, it becomes more than a series of tasks and decisions. It becomes holy ground, a canvas for miracles, a journey guided by the hand of the Almighty. Let me not miss the sacredness of this early offering. Let me not rush past it in search of activity when what my soul truly needs is alignment. Help me to walk out this day not with anxious ambition, but with quiet confidence that comes from having knelt before my King. Let this early morning be my anchor, not just emotionally, but spiritually. Let it be the moment that redefines how I approach every other moment. In this place of prayer, I find clarity for confusion, courage for fear, strength for weariness, and calm for chaos. And more than anything, I find you, not as a distant deity, but as the near and present Father who leans in when I whisper, who delights not in my perfection, but in my presence. You're not waiting for me to get everything right before you walk with me. You are walking with me now, in this beginning, simply because I chose to be with you first. And that, in itself, is the greatest miracle of the morning, that the God who holds the universe waits to hear the voice of his child. Let this day be guided by more than my goals, Lord. Let it be led by grace. Let every plan be submitted, every schedule surrendered. I know the world will try to push me toward urgency and achievement, but I want to move according to the pace of your Spirit, not the pressure of the clock. Teach me to prioritize presence over performance. Let love become the standard by which I measure my success, and peace the atmosphere I strive to protect. Even if this day brings disruption, even if detours arise, let me trust that you are in the interruptions. You are in the closed doors, in the unexpected phone calls, in the moments that seem like delays, but are actually divine redirections. Let my first interactions today be wrapped in intentionality. Whether I am greeting my family, coworkers, or strangers, let my words carry weight because they were birthed in this hour of prayer. May I not speak carelessly or react impulsively, but instead let your Spirit bridle my tongue, that I may build and bless with every sentence. Let my eyes be open to see others with compassion rather than criticism, with curiosity rather than judgment. Give me a heart that leans in rather than turns away, that extends grace even before it's earned. Father, let this morning prayer not end when I rise from this space, but let it continue through every action. Let my very life be a continuation of this conversation. Let the way I carry myself, my posture, my pace, my attitude speak of someone who has been with you. When others encounter me, let them encounter the peace that comes from a soul rooted in the presence of God. Let them feel the overflow of my secret place, not because I announce it, but because it's evident in everything I do. Today, I refuse to start from a place of lack. I begin with abundance not because I have everything figured out, but because I have already met with the one who does. I refuse to be pulled into fear when I have already sat with perfect love. I reject worry when wisdom is available. I resist frustration because I have already released control. This is the power of praying first. It changes not just the atmosphere, it changes me. And when I am changed, everything around me is affected. Conversations soften, deadlines lose their grip, problems shrink in perspective, and impossible things begin to look a little more possible. So let me live this day as a continuation of this sacred beginning. Let me return to it often, not physically, but mentally and spiritually. When midday distractions crowd my focus, let me pause and remember the peace of this morning. When pressure mounts, let me recall the stillness I've already received. When doubt creeps in, let me remind my soul of the truth you spoke to me before the world had a chance to interrupt. Let morning prayer be the compass that keeps my day aligned, the sanctuary I return to with each breath, and the foundation that nothing can shake. And so, as the morning stretches forth in full expression and the light spills generously across the earth, I embrace the sacred rhythm of beginning again, not in my own strength, but in the sufficiency of your grace. Let this day not be driven by habit alone, but by holy intention. Let my routines be infused with revelation. As I prepare breakfast, commute to work, or sit quietly with a warm cup in my hands, remind me that you are present even in the simple moments. Let the mundane be transformed into ministry. Let the ordinary become opportunity. Let every task, no matter how small, be a vessel through which I worship you with wholehearted devotion. Lord, this morning I don't only ask for blessings, I ask for boldness. Give me boldness to live out my convictions when the world tempts me to compromise. Boldness to speak truth when silence feels safer. Boldness to love when bitterness feels justified. Let my courage not be rooted in pride, but in the quiet assurance that I am held by the one who goes before me. When I encounter opposition, help me to remember that peace is not the absence of conflict, but the presence of Christ in the middle of it. You are the one who still calms the storm, whether it's around me or within me. And I choose to start this day believing that truth. Teach me, O God, to guard my heart with diligence. As I engage with the noise of news feeds, conversations, decisions, and demands, let me not absorb everything that touches my senses. Help me to filter every thought through your word, every emotion through your spirit. Let me be quick to cast down anything that does not align with what you've spoken over me. Let no insecurity linger, no fear take root, no lie go unchallenged. I want to live this day from a place of security grounded not in performance or approval, but in the identity I've received from you. I'm not defined by what I do today, but by who I belong to. And if today requires patience, let me wait with praise on my lips. If today brings difficulty, let me endure it with joy in my spirit. If today offers beauty, let me receive it with humility and wonder. Whatever the landscape, whatever the circumstance, let me walk through it with an attitude that reflects the time I've spent in this sacred morning place. Let me carry the aroma of your presence into every room. Let me be a calming presence when tensions rise. Let me be a light in conversations where negativity attempts to dominate. Let my responses testify that I have already anchored my soul in something deeper than what the world can offer. May every decision I make today be preceded by a moment of connection with you. Teach me to acknowledge you in all my ways, not just in the major crossroads, but in the simple, quiet choices too. Help me to pause long enough to hear your wisdom before reacting, to seek your heart before making assumptions, to welcome your peace before moving forward. Let me not run on impulse, emotion, or pressure. Let me walk in the Spirit, moment by moment, step by step, aware that you are leading, guiding, and walking with me. And when my energy wanes by afternoon, when my mind begins to drift or my strength begins to fade, let me return again to this morning moment, not to recreate it, but to remember it. Let me draw from the well that was dug in the early hours, the promises spoken, the presence encountered, the identity affirmed. Let my soul be refreshed not by caffeine or distraction, but by the eternal truth that I began this day in the presence of the Most High, and nothing I face can take that away. Let that awareness be my sustenance, my motivation, my peace. Let this day not pass without fruit, Lord, not just in terms of tasks completed or goals met, but in terms of who I become through it. Let me grow in love, in gentleness, in wisdom, in discernment. Let the people I encounter today walk away lighter, seen, valued not because of me, but because I made space for you to flow through me. Let my life preach louder than my words. Let my character speak more powerfully than my titles. Let the excellence of how I do things be matched by the integrity of why I do them. And when the day draws to a close, may I look back and know that even if nothing spectacular happened in the eyes of the world, something sacred happened in my heart because I chose to pray first. And as I continue to walk forward into this day with the residue of morning prayer still fresh upon my spirit, I ask, Lord, that you would give me eyes that see beyond what is visible and ears that hear more than what is spoken. Let spiritual sensitivity rise within me like the morning sun, clear, warm, illuminating the unseen things that matter most. Let me not be dulled by the routine or hardened by responsibility. Keep my heart soft, pliable, teachable, ready to yield to the slightest tug of your spirit. Let me be moved by what moves you, broken by what breaks you, stirred by what stirs heaven. I don't want to coast through hours unaware of the divine moments tucked between appointments and errands. I want to live today with full awareness that every breath is holy and every step has eternal weight. Lord, fill my thoughts with purpose and my hands with diligence. Whatever you place before me today, whether large or small, let me do it with excellence, not for human recognition, but as an offering to you. Let the way I clean, write, parent, build, serve, or speak reflect a heart that has already bowed low in reverence to the King. Let my work be an extension of my worship. Let no detail be too small to do with intention, no moment too ordinary to infuse with your spirit. Teach me that ministry is not reserved for platforms, but found in the pauses, the phone calls, the acts of kindness that require no applause. Let me not despise the small things, for in your kingdom, it is often the smallest acts of obedience that unleash the greatest outpouring of grace. If this day holds conflict, give me the wisdom to pursue peace. Help me to listen more than I speak, to understand before seeking to be understood. Let my responses be slow, thoughtful, and seasoned with gentleness. Remind me that I am not here to win arguments, but to reflect your character. And even in difficult conversations, even in disagreement, let your love be louder than my pride. If reconciliation is possible, give me the humility to take the first step. And if peace depends on my silence, give me the discernment to hold my tongue and the strength to trust you with the outcome. And if this day holds joy pure, radiant joy, may I drink it in deeply and without guilt. Help me to embrace the laughter, the beauty, the moments of celebration without bracing for the next storm. Let me rejoice without fear of losing it. Let me smile without questioning its worth. Help me to see joy not as an interruption to life's seriousness, but as a holy reflection of your goodness. Let be a song in my heart, a lift in my step, a light that spills into every place I go. Teach me that joy is not fragile. It is fierce and full of power when rooted in you. God, let nothing today be wasted. If I succeed, let me do so with humility. If I fail, let me grow with grace. If I stumble, help me to rise without shame. If I'm celebrated, let it not swell my ego. If I'm overlooked, let it not wound my dignity. May my confidence be grounded in something far deeper than outcome or affirmation. May it be grounded in the unshakable truth that I was known before I was born, loved before I ever performed, chosen long before I ever tried to earn it. And because of that, I can walk forward with holy confidence, not self-assurance, but God assurance, knowing who walks with me. Let the words I speak today echo the ones I prayed this morning. Let them be full of life, mercy, and truth. Let me speak encouragement when it's least expected. Let me offer silence when presence is more powerful than language. Let me choose words that build, never tear down, that inspire, never shame, that invite, never exclude. May my mouth become a wellspring of living water, reflecting the presence I encountered before the sun rose. Let others hear the cadence of heaven in the way I communicate, not just in message, but in tone and timing. And above all, Lord, let everything about this day point back to you. Let my attitude reveal that I've already been filled. Let my perspective be shaped by the fact that I already sat with the Savior. Let my reactions, my rhythms, my thoughts, and my priorities flow from the deep well of peace you've planted within me. And should I forget, should the day become loud, chaotic, or heavy, bring me back to this moment, to this foundation, to this first love devotion that began when I chose to meet with you before I met with the world. Let my entire day become a prayer lived out, a walking worship, a silent surrender woven through every decision, every response, every breath. And as the sun continues to rise, casting light over rooftops, hillsides, and the hidden corners of the city, still waking from slumber, I remain in this posture of surrender, carrying the weight and wonder of your presence into every unfolding hour. Let me not treat this morning prayer as a moment that ends, but as the starting point of continuous communion that lingers long after words cease. Let it travel with me into the busy places, the crowded streets, the crowded thoughts, the crowded schedules, and create space in the middle of all of it. Space to breathe, space to hear, space to remember. Let the peace of this early encounter become the authority over my atmosphere, shaping how I perceive people, how I respond to challenges, how I move through pressure without being pulled from the quiet strength I received when I first bowed my heart today. Teach me, Lord, how to hold this stillness within while the world accelerates around me. Let the spiritual clarity birthed in the morning not dissolve with the weight of the day's decisions. Instead, let it increase layered with fresh wisdom, nourished by constant whispers of your guidance, refined by obedience in small things. I don't want to be changed only in the secret place. I want to be continually transformed as I practice your presence in the most public spaces. Let my inner life not be disjointed from the one others see. Make me whole. Let my integrity be intact, not just in morality, but in spiritual consistency. Let who I am before you in the morning shape who I become before others as the hours unfold. And Father, help me to notice the ones who are barely holding on today. Let me be quick to perceive pain, even when it hides behind performance. Let me move slowly enough to see the person, not just the task. Let my morning prayer have eyes that recognize divine interruptions and welcome them instead of resenting them. Let my spirit stay tender to your prompting, especially when it calls me to set aside my plans for the sake of someone else's healing. Don't let me become so attached to comfort that I miss the holy discomfort of your call to compassion. Let me always prefer love over convenience, faith over familiarity, and surrender over self-preservation. Keep me grounded in gratitude, Lord. Let thankfulness spill from my soul before complaint can take root. Let me start by thanking you for what I often overlook: breath in my lungs, the still beating heart within me, the mind capable of thinking, the body capable of serving, the relationships that remind me of your nearness. Let me thank you for clean water, warm light, food on my table, and shelter over my head. For the safety to worship, the ability to speak, the freedom to choose, and the privilege of knowing your name. And even when things aren't perfect, let me recognize the perfection of your presence, that even lack cannot diminish the abundance of grace you pour out new every morning. And as I prepare to face the inevitable challenges that will arise, whether small irritations or significant obstacles, remind me that nothing I encounter today is outside the realm of your power. Before I ever come to a problem, you have already prepared a solution. Before I feel the pressure, you have already released provision. Before anxiety tries to grip me, you have already supplied peace. So I choose now to partner with you, not with fear. I choose now to walk as a victor, not a victim. I choose now to act not from stress, but from sonship. I will not forget who I am, because I have remembered who you are, and that knowledge gives me strength beyond my own capacity. Lord, this morning is more than just a routine. It is my declaration of dependence on you. It is my refusal to navigate this life without divine direction. It is the place where I realign my priorities, reset my soul, and renew my mind. It is where I trade panic for perspective, heaviness for hope, distraction for discipline. And most of all, it is where I return to my first, love the one who loved me before I ever knew how to love you back. Let that love shape every moment of this day. Let it become the lens through which I see everything. Let it be the power that sustains me when I am tired, the grace that covers me when I fall short, and the light that leads me forward even when the way is unclear. So as the world awakens, I awaken again spiritually, emotionally, physicalido the reality that I am not alone, not forsaken, not forgotten. I am seen, known, called, and equipped for such a time as this. The morning has spoken, and you have spoken with it. And because of that, I will walk through this day not just aware of your presence, but empowered by it. And as the morning deepens and the responsibilities of the day begin to draw nearer, I ask that you, Lord, preserve within me the sacred clarity that was born in these quiet moments. Don't allow the peace cultivated in prayer to be stolen by urgency. Don't let the stillness I've encountered here be drowned out by noise. Instead, let it become the firm soil beneath every decision I make and every place my feet will tread. Let it strengthen me to face what is hard, to respond with grace to what is difficult, to walk with assurance through what is uncertain. This sacred space with you at the start of the day isn't just a refugeite, it is a commissioning. From here, I rise not only refreshed, but sent to live differently, sent to walk uprightly, sent to love extravagantly, sent to be a vessel of mercy, a carrier of light, and a reflection of the one I have just met with in secret. Let nothing about this day be accidental. Help me to walk in divine awareness, conscious of every open door, every whisper of your spirit, every gentle nudge that prompts me to speak, to pause, to reach, or to stay silent. Let my life be a yes to heaven's agenda. Even when I don't understand, even when the path is hidden and the way forward requires faith, let my answer be yes. A yes that is immediate. A yes that is joyful. A yes that costs something but is given freely because I trust the one who leads me. You are not only the destination, Lord, you are the journey. And because I walk with you, I need not know every detail. I need only to stay near. Father, when I am met with temptation today, remind me that I have already chosen holiness in this moment. Strengthen me to honor that choice when the path of compromise presents itself wrapped in convenience. Remind me that purity is not a restriction, but a reflection of trust that I have found something more valuable than pleasure, more lasting than applause, more satisfying than control. Help me to hold fast to the identity declared in the early morning when shame tries to speak, when fear tries to manipulate, when comparison tries to creep in. Let the truth that I am yours echo louder than any lie the enemy may throw my way. You are not a distant deity watching me perform. You are the indwelling spirit guiding, empowering, and transforming me from the inside out. Let me carry this awareness not only for my own sake, but for the sake of others. Let my life be a living intercession. Let the way I move through the world be a prayer for peace. Let the way I respond to difficulty be a petition for mercy. Let the way I serve be a declaration of your kindness. Even when I say nothing, let my countenance preach the message of hope. Let people feel lighter after being near me, not because of who I am, but because I've been near you. Let them be curious about the joy I carry, the patience I show, the steadiness I exude. May my life invite others into prayer without needing to persuade them. May it stir hunger for something greater, something deeper, something eternal. And as the hours pass and the sun climbs higher, may the consistency of your presence ground me in the moments that feel rushed. When deadlines loom and needs multiply, help me return in my heart to this morning moment. Help me to recenter my spirit, to recall that I began this day in your presence, and that no thing, no meeting, no task, no burden can separate me from the love that met me at the dawn. Let the foundation laid in prayer become the firm ground I return to again and again, anchoring me through every shift in circumstance. Whether this day brings progress or setbacks, let my spirit remain steady. Whether I experience breakthrough or delay, let my faith remain rooted. Whether I am applauded or criticized, let my eyes remain fixed. For I did not begin this day seeking validation, I began seeking you. And in finding you, I have already received more than I knew I needed. You have been my portion in the quiet, and you will be my strength in the noise. You have been my clarity in the darkness, and you will be my guide in the light. You have been my confidence in the unknown, and you will be my joy in every unfolding hour. Let this morning of prayer not fade like a fleeting inspiration, but remain as a steady pulse in the background of everything I do. Let it be the gentle rhythm beneath the rush, the sacred thread woven through every ordinary action. Let it shape how I show up in meetings, how I treat those who frustrate me, how I speak to those who don't yet know you. Let the world around me be touched, transformed, and softened by the fragrance of time spent with you, fresh, unseen, yet undeniably real. So as this morning becomes midday, and midday becomes afternoon, may my heart remain tethered to the sacred vow I made in the silence of first light, that I will not live a single moment apart from your guidance, that I will not lean on my own understanding, and that I will remember to seek you not just first, but continuously. And as the hours ahead unfold, Lord, I ask for more than endurance. I ask for attentiveness, not just to my tasks or responsibilities, but to the unseen movement of your spirit woven into every conversation, every glance, every interruption that today may bring. Let me not overlook divine encounters because they are disguised in the mundane. Let me not miss your voice because it comes softly through the kindness of a stranger or the cry of someone in pain. Let me be one who notices, one who slows down long enough to care, who listens long enough to discern, who stays long enough to love well. I don't want to simply get through the day. I want to pour into it. I want to leave behind a trail of peace, of grace, of genuine presence that testifies of your goodness without needing explanation. Lord, I also pray for clarity in moments that require decisions. Help me not to be led by impulse or influenced by fear, but to wait long enough to hear what you are saying. Let my confidence today come not from my own understanding, but from the assurance that I have asked you first. Even when the answers are not immediate, give me patience to stand still without anxiety, trusting that delay does not mean absence, and silence does not mean disinterest. You're always working, sometimes in front of me, sometimes behind the scenes, sometimes within me. Help me to trust your pace, even when it challenges mine. Help me to honor your timing, even when it requires surrendering my own. Let this day also be one where love leads, where I choose compassion over competition, unity over self-promotion, empathy over indifference. Let me not be so consumed with what I need that I forget what others are silently praying for. Open my hands today, not just to receive, but to release encouragement, to release forgiveness, to release peace into places where tension has lingered too long. Let my generosity flow from a heart that knows it has already been given more than it deserves. And when I'm tempted to withdraw or self-protect, remind me that your love in me was never meant to be hoarded, but poured out, poured freely, poured consistently. I lift up the unseen burdens that others may carry into this day, the friend who smiles while silently grieving, the colleague who shows up despite deep weariness, the neighbor who feels invisible. Help me to be sensitive to their unspoken pain. Help me to be a safe space where others don't need to perform, don't need to pretend, but can simply be. Let my presence be gentle. Let my words bring healing. Let my silence offer peace. And when you prompt me to act, whether to pray, to give, or to speak, let me not hesitate. Let my obedience be immediate, knowing that when I move in step with your spirit, even the smallest act becomes powerful in your hands. Keep my heart pure as the day progresses. Guard me against frustration that can rise subtly, against pride that can dress itself in success, against comparison that steals joy and gratitude. Let me recognize these things not as passing emotions, but as invitations to come back to you, to pause and realign, to confess and be renewed. Let my intimacy with you be uninterrupted, not because life is perfect, but because I've learned to return quickly when I stray. Let me carry a repentant spirit, not weighed down by shame, but lifted by the promise of mercy that meets me every time I turn my face toward you. And when the weight of the world begins to press heavily, whether through news, through broken systems, or through personal battles, remind me of where my help comes from. Not from politics, not from performance, not from plans, but from the Lord, the maker of heaven and earth, who does not grow weary, who does not fall asleep, who watches over his beloved with a zeal that never fades. Let me draw strength from that truth, not just in theory, but in lived experience. Let that knowledge carry me when my own strength gives out, and remind me that weakness is never the end, but often the very place where grace begins. So I walk forward into this day with open hands and a soft heart, not striving to control what I cannot, but choosing instead to be faithful with what I've been entrusted. One moment at a time, one person at a time, one prayer at a time. Let my life today be marked not by how much I accomplish, but by how deeply I remain connected to you. That, above all else, will make this day holy. That, above all else, will make this day fruitful. That, above all else, will ensure that no matter what comes, I walk through it in victory because I began in your presence, and I will remain there. And as I remain anchored in the peace that only comes from beginning the day with you, Lord, I now ask for spiritual alertness not just in moments of crisis or spiritual activity, but throughout the slow, unnoticed rhythms of daily life. Train my spirit to stay sensitive even in silence. When I am washing dishes, reviewing documents, managing schedules, or navigating the intricacies of relationships, let me remain tuned in to your quiet leading. Let me not become spiritually numb in the face of routine. Rather, let routine itself become a training ground for deeper worship, for patience, for presence. Let me learn to see you not only on the mountaintop, but in the hallway, the kitchen, the sidewalk, the daily commute. Let me become familiar with your whispers, even when they come in the form of ordinary moments. If interruptions come today, and surely they will help me to see them not as disruptions, but as invitations. Let me be willing to pivot, to pause, to lay down my tightly held plans for something greater than what I could have orchestrated. Show me that the unexpected might be divine, that the person who calls at the wrong time, the delay in traffic, the extra task at work, may all be part of something sacred, orchestrated by your unseen hand. I want to be flexible, not frustrated. I want to be yielded, not rigid. I want to move as you move, even if it means stepping out of my comfort or into someone else's pain. And if today presents decisions that require discernment, whether small or significant, remind me to pause long enough to ask you first. Help me to resist the temptation to default to logic or impulse. Let me inquire of you in everything, even if the world calls it overcautious. For you know what I cannot know. You see what I cannot see. You go before me and level what I would otherwise stumble over. Give me clarity that goes beyond my intellect. Give me wisdom that cannot be found in books or algorithms or trends. Give me insight that is born of intimacy, not just information. Lord, I also ask that you would protect my inner life, the thoughts I allow to linger, the stories I tell myself, the emotions I choose to feed. Guard me against resentment when things feel unfair. Guard me against fear when challenges seem larger than my strength. Guard me against indifference when the needs of others seem overwhelming. Instead, fill my inner world with truth so steady that no lie can find a foothold. Remind me of who you are and, therefore, who I am. I am not defined by yesterday's failure or today's uncertainty. I am defined by your love, sustained by your grace, and empowered by your spirit. Let this be a day not just of productivity, but of fruitfulness. Not just about getting things done, but about becoming more like Christ in the process. Let my efforts be guided by eternal value. Let my labor be clothed in humility. Let the success I experience not lead to pride, and let any difficulty I face not lead to despair. Keep me balanced, not overly consumed with the tasks of the earth, and yet not floating above them in detachment. Let me remain grounded and yet surrendered, active and yet abiding, fully engaged yet fully dependent on you. Help me also to resist the temptation to compare. In a world that measures value in metrics, titles, and visibility, help me to stay secure in the quiet calling you've given me. Remind me that faithfulness often happens in places no one sees. That obedience isn't always loud. That the most significant moments may not be the ones that draw attention, but the ones that shape eternity quietly. Teach me to measure success not by applause, but by alignment. Am I walking in step with you? Am I loving well? Am I serving with joy? Am I keeping my eyes on you? And when fatigue sets in, whether emotional, physical, or spiritual teach me to return to you before I look for lesser comforts. Before I reach for my phone or retreat into distraction, let me come back to your presence. Let me pause long enough to receive your rest. Let me remember that my strength is not sustained by caffeine, by momentum, or by sheer will, but by staying connected to the vine. Let every deep breath I take throughout the day be a reminder that I am not self-powered. I am spirit-filled. I am grace-covered. I am not alone in any of this. May even my rest at the end of this day be shaped by how I began it with you. Let this ongoing communion carry me through every hour, every burden, every joy, and every transition, so that no matter what I face, I will not be shaken. Because the one who meets with you at dawn walks with you through every battle, every blessing, and every quiet in between. And that alone changes everything. And as I continue to walk through this day, carrying the peace that was planted in the earliest moments of morning, I ask you, Lord, to deepen within me a resilience that is born not of striving, but of abiding. Let it not be a resilience that merely endures in silence, but one that overflows in love even under pressure. Teach me to respond to fatigue not with frustration, but with faith. Teach me to welcome resistance not as a barrier, but as an invitation into deeper dependence. Help me to be unwavering in grace, rooted in mercy, and grounded in truth, so that I remain steadfast no matter how unpredictable the hours ahead may become. Let no passing situation have the power to uproot what was sown in stillness before the sun fully rose. Shape my thoughts before they take shape on my tongue. Let every word I speak today be filtered through compassion. Whether I'm offering instruction, encouragement, correction, or silence, let it be seasoned with love and soaked in wisdom. Let me not speak out of insecurity or ego, but out of a deep well of communion with you. May the words I release into the atmosphere carry healing, not harm. May they restore rather than tear down. Let them remind the weary that there is still hope, and the discouraged that there is still purpose. Let my voice become a reflection of the voice I heard in the quiet, gentle whisper that reassured me, called me, corrected me, and sent me forth in the spirit of peace. As I walk through crowded places or quiet corners, let me carry an inner stillness that is immune to chaos. Let me be the one who doesn't just carry peace, but imparts it, not because of personality, but because of presence. Let that presence, the very atmosphere of heaven cultivated in my time with Ullinger, wherever I go. Let others sense that something is different, not because I promote myself, but because the fragrance of early morning prayer clings gently to my countenance. Let anxious environments shift when I walk in, not by force, but by the overflow of your Spirit. Lord, train my heart to seek you even in small gaps of time between meetings, between conversations, between tasks. Let there be continual communion, so constant that prayer no longer feels like something I return to, but something I never left. Let whispered prayers rise from my heart as naturally as breathing. A thank you here. Help me there. You are worthy in moments of beauty. Let me keep the channel open throughout the day, not waiting for the next quiet moment to reconnect, but staying connected in motion, in noise, in rhythm. You are not confined to the early hour, and I do not want to confine my worship to that time alone. Let prayer be my posture, my language, my instinct. Help me also to release the need to see all the fruit immediately. Let me be content with sowing seeds today, seeds of kindness, of truth, of service, of faith. Even if I never witness their full harvest, let me sow anyway. Even if others never acknowledge the effort, let me do it anyway. Even if the ground seems hard or the skies remain gray, let me press forward with a quiet confidence that nothing offered in love is ever wasted in your kingdom. You are the one who brings increase in your time. You are the one who waters, who tends, who knows when to bring the sun. My part is to remain faithful. Your part is to bring forth life. So let me remain faithful in small things, in thankless things, in unnoticed things. Let me be faithful when it's simple and when it's costly, when a day flows smoothly and when it takes unexpected turns. Let me carry the same attitude of reverence from the morning altar into the grocery store, the work project, the classroom, the hospital room, the kitchen table. Let there be no separation between sacred and secular in how I live. Let every place my footsteps become holy because I carry your spirit into it. Let my home become a sanctuary, my desk an altar, my errands a pilgrimage of obedience and quiet joy. Let this be a day where I don't just survive, I grow. Even if growth is painful. Even if growth requires pruning. Even if growth comes through tension or waiting or surrender. Don't let me come to the end of the day unchanged. Let every encounter, every challenge, every choice draw me closer to your likeness. And when the evening comes and the sky turns to fire and fades into quiet, may I look back and find traces of you in all of it, in the victories and the missed moments, in the laughter and the correction, in the joy and the stretching. Because I started with you, I can end with peace. Because I gave you my first, I can rest in knowing you were in all the rest. And that is more than enough. And as the sunlight fully spills across the land and life stirs with greater intensity, I continue walking in the quiet strength that was poured into me in the early stillness. The world may now be in motion horns sounding, doors opening, voices rising, but my soul remains aligned, anchored in the truth that this day is already marked by your presence. Let this awareness not slip away as demands increase. Let it not be drowned out by the clamor for my attention. Instead, let it rise within me like a gentle tide, steady and unwavering, reminding me with each passing moment that I do not face anything alone, that my day was not set in motion by coincidence or chaos, but by communion with you. Let the way I carry this morning's peace serve as a quiet witness to your goodness. Let it ripple into the atmosphere around me, softening hardened places, calming anxious hearts, and inviting others to seek what I have found in you. I don't want to simply survive this day. I want to carry your presence into it. I want to build something eternal with each moment. Whether it's through kindness extended to a stranger, patience with someone difficult, or diligence in my responsibilities, let me build with your character and not my convenience. Let the legacy of this day not be defined by how much I got done, but by how deeply I loved, how faithfully I served, and how fully I stayed connected to you. Help me not to compartmentalize my spirituality, boxing you into the early morning hours only to live the rest of the day on my own terms. No, Lord, I invite you into all of its transitions, the conversations, the quiet pauses, the pressure decisions, the joyful interruptions. Let there be no boundary between prayer and life. Let every step I take be prayer in motion. Let every choice I make reflect the wisdom I received in secret. Let my entire day become a liturgy of love, a flow of uninterrupted worship in a language of action and awareness. Even when I'm not speaking your name aloud, let my posture declare Jesus is Lord of this life, of this hour, of this breath. And when difficulties come, as they surely will. Help me to meet them with the same surrender I offered you at sunrise. Let me not be shocked by trouble or offended by hardship. Instead, let me see these challenges as a continuation of the prayer I began, an opportunity to trust you more deeply, to lean more fully, to surrender more completely. Strengthen me not to resist the shaping, but to yield to it. Shape me through traffic delays and unexpected criticism. Shape me through unmet expectations and changing plans. Shape me through moments that test my grace, stretch my patience, and invite humility. I don't want to waste these moments by rushing through them or complaining about them. I want to see them for what they are: sacred soil where character is cultivated and intimacy with you deepens. Let the fruit of this morning's communion be patience where I was once reactive, peace where I was once tense, compassion where I was once indifferent. Let it be seen not in dramatic acts, but in small choices, a softer word, a slower pace, an intentional pause to listen. Let the fruit of the Spirit flow naturally, not forced, because I have already been filled by you. Let this internal reality of being loved, seen, and led by you overflow into an external posture that welcomes others in, that lifts burdens, that reflects heaven. Lord, if I begin to drift, if I feel the pull of distraction, the lure of comparison, the weight of discouragement, call me back quickly. Let my spirit be sensitive to the loss of peace and quick to return to the source. Don't let me normalize spiritual depletion. Let it feel foreign and unacceptable. Let my soul crave your presence like breath. Let it be instinct to return, not ritual. Let even the smallest fracture of my peace be the signal that I need to pause, recalibrate, and draw near again. And when I do, meet me there, whether it's in a restroom stall, an elevator ride, or a stolen moment between meetings. Meet me, refill me, and remind me again that you are not just the God of the morning prayer, but the God of every moment. As the day progresses and responsibilities shift, help me to embrace the transitions with grace. Let me move from one task to another with intention, not anxiety. Let me end one conversation before rushing to the next. Let me bring the same presence I experienced in stillness into the busy places. Let people feel heard when I speak, valued when I listen, and safe when they share their hearts. And when the unexpected demands more than I feel capable of, help me to remember the source from which I draw strength is never depleted, never distant, never overwhelmed. So I continue forward, carrying the aroma of morning prayer as a quiet offering to the world around me. Not to impress, not to perform, but to point to the one who sustains, who transforms, who walks with me through every second of this day. And in doing so, may this very day, no matter how ordinary it may seem, become a testimony that when we begin with God, we walk in something far greater than our own ability, walk in divine alignment, in supernatural peace, and in the sacred rhythm of heaven touching earth through a yielded life. And now, as the sun climbs higher and the day reaches full stride, I ask you, Father, to help me carry this abiding awareness not as a fleeting feeling, but as a settled truth. Let what I receive in the quiet still govern my responses in the noise. Let the truths you whispered in secret continue to speak louder than the opinions I'll face in public. Guard the sanctuary we built this morning in prayer, that no demand, no distraction, no disappointment can tear it down. Let it remain standing as an inner tabernacle, a holy place I can retreat to with every breath. Teach me that I do not need to escape to pray. I need only to remember, to return in heart, to lift my eyes in the midst of whatever task is before me. If the day becomes long, let endurance rise from the still waters you poured into me earlier. If weariness creeps in, let it not harden my spirit, but soften it toward others who are also tired, toward those who walk heavily, who speak with frustration, who carry burdens invisible to the eye. Let me remember that everyone I meet is fighting battles I may never see, and let that remembrance be a constant invitation to respond with gentleness. Let me be slow to speak and quick to bless, slow to assume and quick to understand, slow to judge and quick to intercede. Let the posture of prayer I assumed this morning become the posture of grace I extend throughout the day. Father, you know the moments that lie ahead of meth conversations I haven't planned, the opportunities one haven't imagined, the trials I haven't anticipated. I don't ask to avoid them. I ask to be prepared for them. Let nothing take me by surprise, because I know that you are already in every room I will enter. Go before me, not just to make a way, but to make me ready. Let me be so deeply rooted in our time together this morning that no storm can uproot what you've planted. Let me speak from overflow, not exhaustion. Let me give from fullness, not fear. Let me walk through pressure without absorbing it, carrying the calm of your presence like a banner over my head. And when success finds me today, when tasks are accomplished, when people respond kindly, when joy is easy, keep my heart humble. Let me rejoice, yes, but let me not lose sight of where the blessing came from. Let me never mistake the gift for the giver. Let gratitude flow freely, not only in the difficult moments, but in the delightful ones. For it is easy to call on you in crisis, but I want to remember you in comfort. I want to celebrate with you, not forget you. I want to praise you in victory with the same fire that I cried to you in the valley. And should I encounter delay or disappointment or discomfort, don't let me run from it, let me bring it to you. Let me return to the altar we built this morning, not to complain, but to pour it out and to exchange the weight of it for the lightness of your peace. Let me live as one who knows where to go when life presses in. Let me not wait until I'm overwhelmed to seek you again. Let me be quick to return, quick to listen, quick to yield. Teach me that true strength doesn't come from pushing harder, but from surrendering sooner. That resilience is not always about standing tall, but about kneeling often. Let everything I do today be touched by heaven, because it was first touched by you. Let my emails carry kindness, my phone calls carry warmth, my meetings carry light, my silence carry peace. Let even the smallest details reflect your excellence, not to perform, but to glorify, not to impress, but to express gratitude for the chance to serve you in even the smallest way. Let every dish I wash, every word I write, every smile I offer be part of a holy rhythm of living prayer, a continuation of the dialogue we began before the first task called my name. And Lord, if at any point I feel I've failed today, if I lose my patience, if I speak out of turn, if I forget for a moment who I am and whose I am, remind me that I am not disqualified. Remind me that the same mercy I encountered this morning is still available in the afternoon. That grace doesn't run out by noon, and that repentance is not a reset to shame, but a return to love. Let me be quick to receive forgiveness, quick to offer it, and quick to start again. Let this day not be ruled by perfectionism, but by presence. Let not be defined by performance, but by progress made one surrendered step at a time. So let me continue walking forward, not with haste, but with holy awareness, not with anxiety, but with anchored trust, not with control, but with communion. Let this day, like every day, be marked by the decision to begin with you and the continual decision to stay with you. Let that choice transform not just my schedule, but my soul. And in doing so, may this day become more than a string of hours it becomes an offering. Holy, set apart, eternal in significance, because it was shaped first in the secret place. And as we come to the end of this sacred time together, may the peace of God continue to surround you, the strength of His presence carry you, and the whisper of His Spirit guide you throughout every moment of your day. If this morning prayer has stirred your heart, brought you comfort, or helped you draw closer to the Father, I invite you to share it with someone who may need the same encouragement. Let's spread this atmosphere of hope, faith, and surrender, because you never know who needs to hear just one prayer to remind them they're not alone. Thank you for joining in this quiet, powerful beginning. May your day be filled with divine appointments, unexpected blessings, and a steady awareness that you are deeply loved and never forsaken. Keep seeking Him first. Keep praying before doing. And remember, God has it all figured out.